Secure within a desolate home in the middle of a forest as an unnatural threat terrorizes the world, the tenuous domestic order a husband and father has established with his wife and son is put in jeopardy with the arrival of a desperate young family seeking refuge. Despite the best intentions of both families, paranoia and mistrust overboil as the horrors outside creep ever closer, awakening something hidden and monstrous within everyone that may lead them to the conclusion that the protection of their families comes at a much greater cost than expected. In fact, survival might not even be possible at all anymore. After the absolutely genius Krisha, which I just loved, I adore that movie, Trey Edward Schultz returns with his second film, and it's also one I like a lot. It's a much more straightforward, like realistic, post-apocalyptic, psychological horror that's in tone a little bit similar to a film from a couple of years ago I also loved named The Survivalist, in that it's bleak and it's hopeless. And that's it. There's nothing cool about it. It's just this world in which no one really knows what happened. No one really knows what's going on. Like, what exactly happened to the world? Will it get any better? Will we ever be able to go back to normalcy? These are questions our characters don't even bother with anymore. The answer to either of those is absolutely insignificant. This is complete survival mode here, folks. Life is reduced to the most simple and basic of needs: food, water, protect the nest, protect the family. That's it. Now, this is indeed a horror film, we can say. It does possess elements of the typical horror movie. A disease has indeed ravaged the world. It's something we are not given much information about. The characters don't really seem to know anything about it, but it's not cool, as I said, in a typical horror movie fashion. It just makes people sick, it just makes them throw up blood, and it's very infectious. And that's the fear factor right there, is that people are not just cautious about contacting other people because they don't know if they can trust them or not. They also have to be cautious about contacting other people because they don't know if they're infected or not. And it's just this very cruel world that forces you into isolating yourself, but also forces you to gather food and water from outside sources. So it's like, ooh. The truly horror elements of the film come more so in forms of nightmares, of visions. Basically, like, we are visually seeing the internalized and ever-present fear of Travis, the teenage boy, and it's actually through his point of view that we are seeing, like, pretty much the entire film. And it's very interesting because you're never truly sure if everything you are seeing, if everything you are hearing is real, or if it's just all in his head. So he becomes sort of unreliable narrator, and I thought it was very interesting that he becomes more of this major character. It really reminded me of another film a little bit similar to this, maybe called Maggie, because it's also a teenager who we see not being given the chance, and we know that he will never be given the chance to see the world and to grow up in a normal environment. And it's just this ever-lurking fear all around him, and it's just this nightmare, and that's incredibly heartbreaking. This entire film is incredibly heartbreaking and incredibly sad. I think it's a film that's much more sad than it is scary, and it's not for everyone. Certain people have been and will continue to be let down by this film. They will be disappointed by its bleakness, they will be disappointed probably by its slow pace, by its ambiguity, by the fact that it doesn't answer any questions. Me personally, I really didn't need any answers. I understood. There's a disease, it's ravaging the world. That's all I needed to know, honestly. This is a film that's about the characters and only about the characters from start until finish. Maybe it could have been a little bit more fleshed out, but I really didn't feel the need for it to be, and I thought the horror aspects did work very nicely. You know, it surprised me in the most pleasant way possible, because instead of trying to make me jump every 6 seconds, instead it chose this sort of technique in which they chose a very horrifying like image and just decided to linger on it. You know, they just decided to linger on it and just move closer to it very, very, very slowly, and just look at this fucked up, crazy, insane, horrifying nightmare we're showing you, huh? Crazy, huh? So I like this. I definitely think it's worth anyone's time if you're a horror fan. My question to you guys would be, what are some of your favorite horror films, but horror films from the past 2 to 3 years, recent horror films? I definitely think horror films during the past 2 or 3 years have been excellent, a lot of them, so I'm really curious to hear about some of your favorites. Don't forget to leave your answers down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can see you later with other reviews. And until I do that, folks, you know the drill. Stay cool, stay awesome, and goodbye.